I have the Faraday 5450, which you can see here, it looks exactly like 4051 from Simplex, and you are right. However, Faraday is the original maker. Actually, I don't know if Faraday is the original maker, but let's say it is the original maker. I'll go ahead and make a comment in just a couple seconds. So, yeah, that's the one right there. Now, the thing about this horn, when I first got it, it didn't exactly work. Every time I tried adjusting this volume screw, it would just make it sound worse. It was very raspy. I didn't exactly know how to adjust like the timing of playing back and forth. I thought it was volume screw, turned out it wasn't. After sending a call in the Fire Panel Discord server, I realized that not only do you have to adjust the screw in order to get this one to work, there's also a screw on the back that you need to mess with. So, I'd like to thank Train Game, whatever the heck his name is, who helped me get that set up, because now this one is working, and it's very loud being the fact that I have it adjusted on high setting, but yeah. And next to it, I have the wave, because I've upgraded the series system protector with this topic, but there's that, here's the smoke detector, so it's a 100 ADT. So, I think that's pretty much it. So, I'm going to go ahead and up here to the smoke detector, I swapped out the 2112 24TS for a Simplex 2098-9201, which is supposed to mimic a, what is it, a Silent Night SC505. Yes, the older model where it looks exactly like this, it just has an LED, or excuse me, a second LED on this side, alongside with this LED, which I find a little bit interesting. It's very similar to the Apollo Discovery and the Apollo X95 difference, where the X95 you're looking at aesthetic-wise has just an LED here, but the difference is that the pole this one does. But on the Discovery, it pulls, and also has an LED here. So, yeah, it's a little interesting. I've never looked at it that way, and a lot of people don't really like it when I look at it that way, but too bad, this is my channel, so I think of it that way. But for now, this is a conventional system, so I have this conventional detector, and so I have two updates. Anyway, moving on, you can see here I have this new stick wire here, which runs to a brand new notification light spot on the ceiling. I found a notification light spot on the ceiling, and it looks rather nice in line with this system sensor detector. Well, it's not really in line, but it fits. Anyway, for the ceiling notification lights, I have the system sensor TC2R, which is supposed to mimic the devices that are inside the spool. Now, a little bit of a note, everything you see here is, I don't think, accurate anymore as of now, because after I left that spool, the basement flooded. So, most likely this is gone, and most likely that's gone for the basement portion. But for now, I just have it mimicking the time lapse of second grade. So, yeah, TC2R is 71575 vanilla, and this is not medium volume. I think it's supposed to be on high volume, but I'm using medium volume because the advances of Streeter, and I hate it. So, yeah, it's really good aesthetic-wise, but I really hate to send these. So, yeah, I know this one's dead. Sorry to drop bad news. However, I did get the cooler because I replaced the strobe with the 1971 because it's acting weird. I replaced it with a pedal single pedals, as you can see. And these are typically 135 vanilla. I know that because these two pedal single 450s have the fidelity on the bottom. This one is not for some reason. I think it lost a sticker, so that's why. It's linked in crap. So this is actually, which is actually really nice. However, you notice that it actually damaged the wall a bit. That's my fault. And it's also the fact that the command strips decided, hey, we're going to go ahead and just pull the paper off the drywall because we're too stuck and we're not going to do anything. So, yeah, the keypad kind of damaged the wall, which I guess is fine. I can paint over it once I shake it off. So, I have the on the door as well as the smart locks. As you can see, kind of matches this. Now, we haven't replaced the light switch yet. I can do that because you can see they don't really link the wall anyway. So, in here, still got this system sensor 2100 RT. It's the system sensor model of the 50 LSC, which is actually the original, I think, because it's basically a system sensor detector with pieces of into it as well as our receiver or our transceiver. So, yeah, there's that. Oh, the only thing I noticed is that the Simplex smoke detector is not in this spot anymore. It's actually moved over here. See? Smoke detector. It's no longer in this spot right here, which I feel is a little bit better because in most cases this is where smoke detector is supposed to be. It's not supposed to be here because if anything, smoke is going to go through here into the fan. Not really work at all. May not stay anywhere because these things are set so quick that they don't stay anywhere. So, I had to move it away from the fan. So, yeah, there's smoke detector and here's the Christmas tree. We're going to go ahead and turn it on. Go. The fire one's underneath the tree, and yeah, pretty cool. And the reason why I have a system sensor detector in here, even though that there is actually a Simon security system here, the Simon's dead. I put it out. I have links in here now, as you can see. And it's pretty nice links. I actually like the LCD better than the older ones. And I finally got a hold one for a pretty good price. So, yeah, here it is. And that's an external Siren box for this. Anyway, that's kind of off topic, so I'm not going to go into the system. If you want to see it, you can check out some of the videos. But let's go ahead and continue. So I have some detectors in this bedroom, right there. Just so everyone's aware, we're testing the smoke detectors we tested in the last video because it kind of takes too long and they were retested, so they don't really need to test it any further. And here's the keypad. It's a little bit dark in here, so that didn't really do anything. But here's the keypad. Anyway, we're going to go ahead and start this test with the new smoke detector placement in my bedroom without checking this because this contacts, or this communicates with two systems. It communicates with links and this unfortunately can't activate the system at once for free. So you gotta be careful with that. So I'm going to have my hair protection and we'll go ahead. Right, time for some smoke saver. And oops, I'm not testing that. What am I doing? Muscle memory. Anyway, we'll go ahead and start this detector. 3, 2, 1. The voltage here, I have the Edwards 270 SBO, and I have determined that the screw on the top is not stripped. These are actually how they come, the newer models, because I believe their intention was to throw off idiots that tried to open this. They tried to throw them off by saying, oh, you need a very special screwdriver to open it. When in reality, you just need a flathead screwdriver. And it also makes sense that you have a ballpark idea to not turn it clockwise, and then you need to turn it counterclockwise to open it. So that's a little bit odd, but it's full station. Up here I have the Edwards B95B-201. Now, for those who have not seen Fahrenheit 4051's video, this is basically the louder version of the 001 and I believe the 301 if that counts. It's just an adaptive horn on a strobe blade. However, this thing did not really work when I got it. It was entirely out of adjustment, so I messed around with it, and it turns out the bolts that had adjustment back was also out of adjustment too. The pitch and volume bolts. I adjust every single bolt on this thing, and then you smack the G set it in order to get this to work. So now it works. It's on the system. It looks pretty cool in my opinion. So yeah, same smoke detector as last time. It's gonna be a while before I get any smoke detector just because of prices, and also because I want to put the same smoke detector up here many times in a row. So I'm thinking on it. It may take a while. On point, I've got the Edwards 270B-1120. The difference with this and the 110 is that this thing uses a key to reset it instead of a screwdriver. Making it a little bit easier. Though it may be difficult just because the point is not secure as always. So whoops. And the second difference is that this is not addressable. The addressable part is a Sega. This is not a Sega. This is just a regular one. So yeah. And then above it I have the Edwards 892-2B-001 I think it is. It's the older version that uses piezo instead of speaker like some people have. And I got this one from Bradwell. They say it was clean, but it's poorly stored, so it's covered in wrap things. So yeah. In my opinion, I feel like this one was a little bit more used than that one. And I guess that's what I get for ordering this device last minute because there's only one left to stock. That's the last one. So for this setup, how I had the system originally set up on this panel down here, I actually had the alarms on continuous, and the reason why was because the March time coder, that little flasher down there that is not even used on 4005, this thing actually made that thing actually crash and kind of stop working. So that was why the system was on continuous. So it's going to be on continuous first, and then it's going to go to March time later because I feel like it, and then maybe I'll throw in a walk test just for the heck of it. And in the departure from the norm for single thing like that, I'm actually going to start this in the hallway because I've never done that. So production in place. Let's go ahead and start.
You have the thing. It's on test mode for 15 minutes. Hold on, I gotta change something. I have set the siren duration. No, not siren duration. System to have it siren on medium. We currently don't have an extra siren yet, but I don't know if it's the light. I'm going to picture so I have the sensor tools. Base station. Just push back up. Right. So we're going to be testing a couple sensors. Let me turn on the lights real quick. Alright, we're going to do home mode. So that was trying to make this quick. Keep it update, that's why it sounds different. Camera. Good. Alright. I'm going to go ahead and trigger front door. Hopefully it's on test mode. I don't know. There's now 3 sounds on the keypad. Alright, we're going here. I'll jump up when it's about to go off. It's about to go off. That is loud. Man! Jeez, that was loud. Base station going off. Front door entry. Whenever it does those 2 beats, it seems to have it do that. I don't know why. Anyways, wait time.
Alright, system's on its way. So now, what we're going to do is we're going to go back downstairs, start the shakiness. I don't have a hot socket hold the camera stable, but that's going to be kind of difficult. So this clip here of me attempting to test the glass break sensor ended up having to cut instead. I had to just instead open the den door and have the system go off that way because I realized that the screwdriver beating method against the glass break sensor was not working. The actual method we were supposed to do instead of reducing the build volume on the specific glass break detector with a screwdriver is to set the glass break detector on the table, drop a spoon, another spoon from above, and we'll imitate glass breaking without having to buy a $1,000 glass break sensor tester. So yeah, that's basically my lesson of the day. Don't take a screwdriver and beat up sensors just because it's not working. So yeah. Oh, that's weird. This is actually sent to an entry zone. Okay, we'll let that hash out. Alright, system's off. We're going to check the glass break downstairs. Hopefully. The one that's over there didn't work, so I'm going to check that thing as soon as this is done. Make sure it's communicating. There's that one. I'm gonna go get the screwdriver. I really need to get a glass break sensor, tester, or at least make a sound that's very loud. I think we'll trip these things, because these things are not sensors at all, yet if you know what you're using. Now, something you notice is that there's no siren connection on this board. That's kind of on purpose because this panel actually has a built-in siren speaker. It has a little speech right here. That makes it so that there's kind of no need for a siren. However, I would also kind of like to prefer having a siren, to be 100% honest with you, being like used also with a speaker for the indoors and just having a standard siren for the outdoors that's using its own set of power. But I can kind of see why I did that because using a speech driver and also using a separate siren kind of pulls a lot of power, so maybe that's why I did that. Over here you have keypad connections and two wire smoke connections and other setups you can actually use an auxiliary relay right here. Now the keypads on the system for the Vista, they are 4-wire connections. However on the Apex there's 6 because there's an extra 2 wires for the speaker because the speaker connects separately. Over here you have your zones. You have 16 zones available on this panel. The 4100 takes 14. Apex has the 4100. They made this 6100, the 4100, and I believe they also made a Apex Advantage. I don't know if that's the exact name of it. I'll leave a name on your screen right now of the panel, and we'll also include a picture of it. I might have that panel because it's too expensive. The keypads listed at $100, panels listed at $100, and all the other parts listed at $100. Which I think the panel's more expensive, so yeah, that's about it. You see I have 2 zones connected to the system. I did say that I wanted to expand it. I'll probably have it later once I get my financial check because getting parts for these systems is extremely hard, unfortunately, because parts for the system are kind of getting a little sparse, and along with that, they're really expensive. So yeah, there's the panel right there, battery and trash that you can clean out. Now something you notice is that the panel case is actually the same as the Vista panel case. You can see they're an exact match. As you can see, the only difference is that the wiring diagram is different. This one has different stickers and wiring diagrams, and this one actually has this knockout still intact, and so it actually has a key lock here. And versus with this one, the knockout here is punched out, and there's holes thrown in here because this system needs to have a keypad on here, but because of circuitry interference, I have to keep it off. So that's why this is empty now. And there used to be a key lock on this panel. It's actually this right here. However, I took this off because it's broken. It's actually not broken. The problem is that key is missing. It's actually not good, so cannot do that. So I took the key lock off. I'm probably going to do that at some point. Here is the wiring diagram for the system. Obviously, it's a bit different. We'll go ahead and shut this, and we'll take a look at the other stuff. So hooked up to the system has the main ones here. I have the 6160 key, which you can see here this keypad actually looks exactly the same as this. The 6160 TL3 made by Security by Ameritech. You can see that they look exactly the same, nearly. This one is basically kind of like a non-voice version. It has the board with 6160 first generation, but you see it has still like a message indicator and a microphone. Versus with this one, you can see it's basically this, but if it had a message LED, however, the LEDs are assigned for different things, and they're like redundant and everything. Now, like I mentioned before, this system is supposed to be kind of like a higher end Vista system, and it kind of was, because this system actually has a two-way voice function. However, that will not be demonstrated because the microphone on this keypad is broken, because the wires broke off. The wires ended up getting out, because this keypad I can't use. The basic VOA, my god, the screen was like totally trash, the microphone is disconnected. I replaced the screen from one of my keypads that's also VOA, basically I can't use it because it causes the system short, so I just took the LCD from there and put it in here. The LCD was fine, this main circuit board was the problem, so yeah. The microphone still doesn't work, so that's why two-way voice will not be demonstrated. This system, you don't even have two-way voice. So yeah, there's the keypad there, and you see a little bit different button arrangements here, and different little operating instructions. Anyway, here's the speaker. The system, this is Honeywell Wave. I'm Honeywell Wave 2, it's a wave, you can see it's missing a tone driver here. So yeah, I just have this here. The speaker quality on this thing is terrible. It basically shreds your ears on impact, but the speaker is very loud though, so I guess it works. Transformer. It's actually the same transformer from panel. I took battery and transformer. So I'm having trouble with this key lock. I'm not entirely sure what's wrong with it, but it keeps doing that, where it tries to break my keys. Anyway, here's the first GT bar. Keep rating extension on spring loaded. Definitely use a simple bar. I'm not entirely sure why they got rid of the spring loaded handle. The first generation had the second did not, and I made more cheaper. Not really nice. Anyway, system is silence. There's no auto silence because the light plates are hooked up to the core neck and the strobe neck's cut off because I don't want to have the lights out of sync. So that is why there's no auto silence. Sorry about that, folks. Shut the door here. I can grab the handle. And we're going to go ahead and reload it using the simple bar. Got this water master pop spray. This one's the same one on zone 2. However, it does get the job done. Here's all the way to the wall. And we have one over here. I don't think anymore, so I think it's just 2. So I'll be back when zone 5 goes on. Alright, here's the Rainbow Mexico. Wait for it to come on. Here we go. There it is. There's also another Rainbow Mexico over there. Or the pop spray right here. Which it's spraying the wall, of course, but it's not really that. It's going to stay like that. And we have the 32 USA. 32 USA right there. Alright. And we have another 32 USA over there. And we have the mini pop over here. There it is right there. Rainbow mini pop, or LG3, whatever you want to go with. Works great. And of course, we got the Maxi pop over there. I'm going to quickly go over here and try to film the other ones. There it is right there. And yeah, I think it's difficult to film, so I'm going to go ahead and go over here to the Maxi pop real quick and film the shut down. This is the main piece. It's a single main box, very low current draw. So go ahead and open it up here. Now, what's cool about this siren is that it's so small that it basically looks just like a standard outlet. However, it's a siren. Here it is, right here. This is the manual. There's some manual information on the back, as well as some wiring installation. On this side, there's just some warranty information. So yeah, I got the brand new box. Pretty cool. And here's the siren itself. As you can see, we got 2 piezo electric horns. Pretty cool. On the back here, you have your connections. You got ground, you got negative, and you got positive. It runs on 12 volts DC, which is your typical burglary alarm voltage. 28 milliamps, 79 decibels at 10 feet, which is honestly not that much. Pretty cool. Now, what's cool about this sounder is that being effect is so small, it basically just fits inside this electrical box. And then you can put an outlet cover on top of it. And, stick it anywhere. Kind of looks like a typical outlet that you can find in a bedroom, except it's actually a siren instead. They don't do it like this anymore, which is sad. So, yeah, pretty nice selection of these. And the other type of security device I've seen that goes in an outlet box is a motion sensor. And that was for a data security system that exercise scientific film. This is the siren end of it. Pretty cool. Anyway, I'll go ahead and set this up and put it up and I'll show it in action. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and demonstrate the AirTech A912 right here. Record sounder. It's not in the box, it's actually inside the panel case. I'll show that in a minute. This is my 6X4975 demo board, by the way. This is the panel. This is basically a new version of 49470 that you guys have seen in the past on my channel. Think of this panel as a 6X4100 classic, and then the 49470 down here. Think of that as a 6X4100 classic. So yeah, think of it as like that. Because the difference with these two panels is that this one's kind of more limited, one down here, and this one has a little more features, kind of newer style. It's also in this more smoother, brighter style aluminum case. So yeah, and we're not complete yet. I'm waiting for a keypad to come in that matches this panel style. I haven't actually ordered it yet. I have to wait for one pop on eBay because for some reason the link synced. So I'm waiting for that. And also waiting for my new siren to come in. I ordered a replacement for this 49529A speaker siren. This thing is basically a second alarm speaker that Trio has made a video of in the past. And I'll go ahead and insert some clips of this thing sounding on Yelp and Steady. And pretty soon you guys are going to probably see a video on EYL802's channel showing this siren connection. That's going to be kind of a mystery how I was going to set this thing up because the mounting holes on this thing are much different than a single game like this one. Anyway, so right now I have the siren disconnected. There's no wires going into it. Instead I have the record sounder in here. I've added this wall plate right here. And it's sitting on my electrical box, my spare one. And here's the siren right here. We have 2 pieces of horns. And this is just a cable running down on the inside of the panel. I'm too lazy to put behind. And obviously it's up in here. And to arm this system I'm just using jumper pieces. However, I'm not going to be doing this. I'm just instead going to be using the belt test. Which this thing doesn't look like it has a belt test. It actually does. It has a belt test right here. You hold this down. Kind of annoying if you know it's not that loud, but it is kind of annoying. It's only like 79 decibels, but it's loud.
Warning, smoke, evacuate.
Alright. And then I'll stop once you reset the system. Now Now go ahead and check AC alarm.
The oak sensor is good. Remaining sensor life is at least 12 months. Battery life is at least 12 months. The alarm will now sound in 5 seconds. Press check to cancel.
Leave the off and start doing AC alarm myself. Let's see that message.
Okay, carbon monoxide, move to fresh air.
Pretty sure now you can understand what I mean by me saying sneak peek. It's like an S because it sounds exactly like an S with its voice prompts. Everything else, however, is just by itself. Now this is cool. This actually does a CO alarm too, but it doesn't detect it. I'm gonna make it try the house.
Carbon monoxide alarm. Upstairs. Carbon monoxide. Disarmed. Ready to arm. Disarmed. Ready to arm.
And we're going to demonstrate medical panic. Medical panic is very loud. Okay, but for some reason when it's police, it's not exactly as loud. Alright, let's go down here and start for the last time. By the way, the siren does not sound medical, just in case anyone's curious. Not number. There we go. So that's it for the residential pressure alarm system with the 120. And it's only on 3000 I don't see no DC2 behind it. I took this valve strobe off because it's kind of boring, and we have a valve strobe on the system right there. So I figured I don't need that strobe, so I just slapped on my 3001 because this light plate does not work with this camera because that's the first gen light plate, which means it has a polarized diode, which sucks. So I have to polarize the first way to use on this camera. Anyway, without further ado, let's go ahead and start. 3, 2, 1, let's see you live.